So could you please tell us your name and the official name of the building or property on the City of Salmon Arm's Heritage Register that we're talking about?
Sure. So my name is Alan Harrison. I'm the mayor for the city of Salmon Arm, and we're talking about the old city hall, which is located on Hudson Street and in Salmon Arm.
Okay. So the old municipal hall, right?
Yeah, municipal is the right word. You've got
Yeah,
it. It's the old municipal hall.
perfect.
I've moved into city, but at the time it was a municipality.
And could you explain your relationship to that property?
Sure. The property is owned by the public, owned by residents of Salmon Arm, and as the mayor, of course, I'm partly responsible to look after that piece of property.
And how long have you been associated with it?
I've been on council for 29 years, so uh, have a reasonable history of that, say 3 decades. I've been mayor for 6 years, um, and it's really in the same role. Each of us as elected officials have some responsibility to it.
Mhm. And in that time, you served on the Heritage Commission, right?
Yes, the Heritage Commission, when it was first formed, I think it was 2008, I think. Um, so I was the first counselor who was the liaison for the Heritage Commission, and I served on it probably for about 6 years.
Mhm.
Hardest working committee in the city. I think all our committees work hard, but there's more passion on that committee than on most.
Mhm. So instead of what initially drew you to the property, I would say, what do you think is special about the old municipal hall?
Yeah, I mean the heritage value of the front piece certainly makes it special. And the fact that it's in a triad with two provincially recognized heritage pieces, the facade of the courthouse and also the art gallery, um, make it in a triangle that fits. We don't have a lot of heritage buildings of significance in Salmon Arm. From a provincial perspective, there's only three. And much of that is because most of our buildings were built with wood, not with brick. And so um, there's been alterations by many of them over time. But the three that I mentioned, and this one in particular, um, the actual front facade part is um, is the original piece.
In your time, do you know what changes have been made to the property?
Yeah, the addition to the back of that building was not done in my time, but I'm very aware of it because the old municipal hall actually was quite small and probably is about a third of the building that you see there is the original piece. The addition piece that's put on the back really does not have heritage value, and is the piece of the building that is in the worst state of disrepair. Um, so I've seen the kind of over time how that piece of the building in particular has degenerated. Much of our Many of our old buildings are built on blue clay because back in the 18 end of the 1800s, early 1900s, of course, buildings it was done differently, and so they were just placed on the surface, and the blue clay, of course, moves up and down, so that affects structures, and that's part of the reason why many of our old buildings um, are in need of repair. The other piece that's changed in my time here was the the old municipal hall was occupied by the Hudson Street seniors, and that was subsidized by the city for them to operate. When Fifth Avenue Senior Center and the Canoe Seniors Center um, were built and progressed, Fifth Avenue Seniors is a huge group and big building. And so many of the seniors go to Fifth Avenue for their activities. And what was happening was the Hudson seniors group was getting smaller and smaller and smaller, and it was really getting difficult for them to keep the building open, and to find people who would serve in executive positions there because there wasn't enough members to do the work. So, and when COVID came, that really was difficult for them. And so we worked with them in a mutually agreeable way, to help have them join the Fifth Avenue seniors. Many of them went there. There was, they weren't able to pay the bills that they were responsible for in that leased building. So the city worked with them to ensure that individual executive members would be able to leave those positions without having any debt. So we did that. And at that time, that building was no longer used for that purpose.
Mhm.
It
Was it
has been, sorry?
was it already in poor condition by that time?
Yes.
Yeah.
And some of us have been in the building. I've been there for a number of meetings and bingos and those kind of things over time. The interior of the building is not very practical to use for today's uses. It's small, it's dark, there's not a lot of space in there. I would say it's quaint, but not that practical.
Mhm.
So, and I think most people would agree with that who've been in there. So, yeah, that's one of the challenges, certainly, is the usability. But it has been a state, it's degenerated over time. We are trying to decide what to do with the building. That's why we did a study to see what state it was in. It is in a poor state of repair. So that's one of the challenges we're facing.
Mhm. What words of wisdom would you share with people trying to figure out what to do with a building like that that has heritage value but is in a poor condition?
Yeah, this has to be a team effort. It's all hands on deck, uh, because I think everyone would be in favor of preserving that building. The costs are extensive. And so, especially at times like this, it's difficult for taxpayers to pay more than they're paying now, and especially when there's lots of priorities that we have. So, yeah, my advice would be, there's a lot of passion and there's a lot of energy about preserving. It has to be a team effort to make it happen, I think.
Mhm. And if you could describe the building in one word, what would it be?
Oh, I think it's a quaint building. Yeah, I'd say quaint is the word that I would use. Others might use a different word, but that's my word.
Good word. All right, that is all my questions.
Great.
Or was there anything else you wanted to add about the municipal hall?
No, I don't think so. The only other piece I would say is it's a really important space in the city as far as green space goes. Um, it's not built a lot line. There's space around that building, and that's valuable to have green space in your downtown. And so that needs to be a consideration, I think, when decisions are made on what to do there.